Welcome back to another episode of To the Men After Me podcast. I'm your host, Nico Williams. This is the letter to the boys that will become men in the generations that follow. Today on the podcast, I got a special guest. I'm super excited. Ladies and gentlemen, Jewel Moser. Say hello to the people, Jewel.
Hi.
Jewel. Look, y'all don't know what kind of a gift this is to have Jewel on the podcast. Okay, Jewel, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us like the highlight reel of Jewel Moser.
I think the highlight reel of myself, I'm Jewel. I just graduated from North Carolina A&T in December. Aggie Pride. I graduated with a Bachelor's of Science in Fashion Merchandising and Design. So I taught myself how to sew in 2019.
2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
It hasn't been that long.
Okay.
So I taught myself how to sew. And then from there, I changed my major. I went through school, and I've just been sewing ever since. And now I have a line with Belk. So it's been progressing.
This is crazy. Okay, I'm very excited to have you on the podcast. I'm very excited to talk about some of these things. But let's back up a little bit, okay? Jewel, where did we meet?
We met through Mercy Hill slash A&T.
Slash A&T.
Yeah.
I don't, but I was wondering, do you remember the first time we met each other? What was the circumstance?
It was during First 10 when you guys had the roller skating event.
Really?
Yeah, because me and my friends wanted to go, and we went. I don't remember actually skating, but I remember being in the parking lot talking to you for the first time.
That's crazy.
A&T, yeah.
That's 2018.
Yeah.
That was the first year I was a college resident, and you were a freshman then. Good night.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I don't know, somehow you ended up becoming a leader with us. You started coming to Mercy Hill. What made you decide, okay, Mercy Hill is going to be my church while I'm here at school?
I think there were so many great connections, and I really felt at home at Mercy Hill. And my friends, like Carrie, Ashton, everyone made me feel so at home, and you guys. And I was like, okay, I think I can be here. And I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, well, as long as you're comfortable and you feel safe and everything is right, then you're great. And I was like, okay. So I went.
That is incredible. Okay. So that was 2018. You from Winston-Salem State?
Yes.
Well, Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem.
From Winston-Salem. So not too far away from home. But, it is college. And so you have to make that step of like, I'm not a child anymore. Just tell me a little bit about what life, that transition was. I know it's been a little while since then, but just if you can go back, what was that transition like for you?
It was kind of a hard transition, actually, because I'm not far from home, 30 minutes. Okay. It was not far at all. And I think my first semester on campus was amazing. I had so much fun. I was meeting all these people. I was going everywhere, and I had all these friends. But then my second semester hit really, really hard.
Okay.
And I started that was the first time I had ever had a panic attack in my life.
Really?
And it felt like I was dying. Like, they called the emergency. It was crazy, because I remember we were in McAllister's.
Okay.
And my heart just, like, dropped. And I really thought I was about to die. It was crazy. They called the ambulance. My parents came. And then I think from that point for, like, the next maybe, like, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I dealt with anxiety and just having panic attacks really, 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 really bad.
Whoa.
So that was very hard.
I don't think I ever knew that.
I never told anyone.
Whoa. And now it's on the podcast.
That's on the podcast. I never told anyone, because I think that was when I was really excited to have Mercy Hill and have my friends. Because you guys were definitely a buffer in between, like, how I was really feeling and then having people who encouraged me and spoke life into me constantly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Jewel, you really are a jewel, okay? So back then, though, you went to A&T. What was your major back then?
My first major, okay, I've had a lot. My first semester at A&T was PR. And I went into PR because I thought...
Wait, just for people
Yes.
who don't know, what does PR stand for?
PR is public relations. In my mind, when I was 18, I thought that would be more event planning and things of that nature, but it wasn't. It's more like marketing, but on the creative side. Yeah. And so then I was like, well, it's not really what I wanted, and I knew at some point I wanted to have my own business. So I was like, I think my classes would transfer over better if I go into marketing. So I have some business. I also have the PR aspect, so I can really run a brand. So I changed my major. Okay. And I went with that major from my freshman year all the way to what would have been my junior year. Okay. And I was in it. I was doing it because Like, it was my major. Everyone thought it was a safe major. They knew I would get a job. I had really cool internships that went really well. I would have went to Michigan. But then I was like, I can't keep living like this. I can't.
Wait, talk about that. Mm-hmm. What were some of the signs that helped you think, okay, this ain't it. This ain't for me?
That last internship that I had was with a chemical company. Okay. And I worked with like polyurethane apparel. So I had a little bit of apparel, but it was still heavily like chemical based and really based in marketing. And they really wanted me to come after I graduated. Whoa. And so they extended an offer and I was like, I don't really want to go, but they paid so well. My parents are like, and I was like, okay.
So wait a minute. You had a job.
Yeah.
You were a junior.
Yeah.
And you had a job after college. Mm-hmm. And you were like, this ain't for me.
It wasn't.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's talk about that. How did you start to navigate these feelings of, this isn't for me, I have a job, I have security, but I'm not loving this?
I just wasn't enjoying it, especially when I was in the internship. I was looking at the people who were in the position that I would have been coming into, the entry-level role. And what they were doing just wasn't exciting to me. They were traveling a lot. And it wasn't like, oh, you get to travel a lot. They were in Myrtle Beach 1 week, South Carolina the next, Texas the next, and always somewhere. And that just was not appealing to me. So I really didn't like that aspect of the job. But I also just didn't want to go into marketing. Like, I thought I did, but I really didn't. I really wanted something more that was creative and that I could find myself in, where I could go to work and be happy with my job and not just go to work to get a good check. Yeah.
So what gave you the courage to start thinking, maybe I don't need to do this? You're 3 years into your degree at this point. It's like everybody else, the logical thing is to just kind of finish, graduate. Maybe you don't even have to get a job in marketing, but you're going to get your degree. What gave you the courage to start thinking, I might need to do something else?
There was this girl, I was a tour guide.
Okay.
And there was this girl, her name was Jade, and she came back. She had graduated. She came back and did like a speaker series with the current tour guides. And she was talking about how she changed her major and how it was just so amazing for her. Wow. And she did it in her junior year. And I really admired Jade. I thought she was just amazing. She was so cool and so smart. And I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so I was talking to her more about it. I was like, I'm really thinking about it. At that time, I didn't know we had a fashion program.
Really?
I didn't even know it was an option.
Okay.
And I was just like, this just isn't right. Like, something just isn't right about it. I can't keep doing this. Yeah. And I was talking to her about it, and she was like, well, if you find something else, do it now. And I was telling the people where I was going to work, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I'd rather take this risk now than regret it later down the line.
So it was Jade.
Yes.
She came back. So I was Aggie ambassador back in school too, which is like small world. So this was like this chance encounter, this random experience where, was it Miss Tashina?
Yes.
She brought this girl back to do a speaker series, and you said, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely.
I just want to like uncover the grace of God there, because like, I mean, I think God would have got you to where you're supposed to be, but He used that moment to help you recognize, okay, I'm gonna have courage to do something else.
Absolutely.
And that's nothing short of the grace of God. Let me ask you this way: do you think you would have made the decision then if you had not ran into Jade?
Not at all.
Because you were recognizing, this isn't for me.
I knew it wasn't for me, but I didn't have the confidence yet.
So did you think you were just gonna like, I guess I just
finished. I'm almost done. I'm not trying to waste nobody money. I've been here so long.
Right.
And it was just getting to the point where even, elders or like just other people who have really safe careers and have done a certain path, they're just like, girl, just finish. You're almost done. Just get a job. You'll eventually find something you want after you make this money. But it's like, I couldn't do it.
So you mentioned talking to your elders about some of these things, and they're like, okay, well, you need to wait. So you make the decision, I'm going to change my major. What was that conversation like with your parents?
Oh, my. So I changed my major. I figured out we had the program.
Okay.
I figured out that we had the program. I looked at the courses, and I was like, this is exactly what I've been wanting to learn, because I taught myself how to sew. But when you teach yourself something, there's always things. There's gaps in your knowledge. You don't know it all.
All right, let's pause there. We got to talk about this. So in 2019, this is probably your second year.
Yes.
you're like, I'm going to teach myself to sew. Why? Why would you teach yourself to sew?
It was kind of random. My mom had a sewing machine because she wanted to sew, but then we had never used it. And I remember one day, my dad gave me all these shirts because I was like, I just want to do something. And so he gave me all these shirts and he was like, well, just you can sew with those or just practice with those. I was like, okay. I didn't even know how to thread the bobbin. I didn't know how to turn the machine on, none of that stuff. And so I looked it up on YouTube and I just started sewing.
Wow. Okay, so you start sewing. You changed your major. Yes. Did you change your major before you told your parents?
Yes.
Okay. Let's talk about that a little bit. Okay. When they found out you had changed your major, what was their response?
I told my mom, I was like, hey, I changed my major. And she was like, okay. I really appreciate my parents because they had confidence in me and they saw that I wanted to sew. And my mom was fine with it. She was like, I see you doing that. Like, I've seen you sewing. I've been in sewing competitions at this point. And it's like, I did all this stuff. And she was like, I could see you doing that. And I was like, the only thing is it's just going to take more time. Like, marketing and fashion, they don't really overlap. And she was like, that's okay if that's what you want to do. Wow. My dad is the person, I was a little scared to tell him because he was so excited about this job and doing all this cool stuff. And I remember he came to my apartment one day and I was like, Dad, I changed my major. And he was like, what'd you change it to? I said, fashion. And he started smiling and I was like, oh, okay. He was like, oh, that's so good. I can really see you doing that. And when I tell you, I just felt like so much confidence.
Right.
That moment gave me so much where I was like, okay, they believe in me because everyone's parents, they're not like that. Even in the fashion program, people don't see fashion as a career, even though it is because it's part of the arts and, everyone doesn't see the arts as a really viable career choice. But once he said that, I was like, okay, I can do anything now.
Yes. Something similar happened to me. I was thinking about being a theater student as I was going into college. I was in high school. And I remember telling my dad, like, Dad, I want to do this, but like, what if nobody like hires me? Yeah. He looked sometimes I cry just thinking about it. He looked back at me and he said, son, you wrote a play and you put it on for your senior project. If nobody hires you, you hire yourself. And I was just like, my dad believes in me. Yeah.
It means so much.
But going back to like even your story, your dad believed in you early on. Yeah. He kind of like started you out. Like here are these shirts. Here's this material for you to get started. Okay, so you go ahead. You're changing your major. What was like your transition like? And you're no longer doing PR classes. Now you're doing fashion classes. What was that like?
It was amazing because the fashion program, A&T is large. Yeah, we have so many people at A&T. Yeah. The fashion program is 100 people total. Wow. In the whole program. So it's like real small. It was very small, and I felt such a connection with the teachers and with my fellow students, and I was learning what I actually wanted to learn. I was going to class to sew, and so it meant so much to me. I was so excited every day going to class. Class would be at 8 a.m. I'm in there. Like, I had never been like that before. I was in class, enjoying it. I did so well, and it was just an amazing, amazing transition.
So you're taking all these classes. You're loving it. You're having the time of your life. How did that affect your timeline towards graduation?
It added an extra year and a half.
Okay, not too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I remember my friends were graduating, like the class that I came in with. And a part of me was just so embarrassed because I was like, I'm not graduating with my class. And sometimes, it was like I should have been graduating, but at the same time, this is what I wanted to do. Yeah. And I couldn't be embarrassed when I'm doing something that I actually love. And that same summer was when I went to New York. Okay. And so it was like, okay, well, things are happening. It's okay that I didn't graduate when I was supposed to, but I'm still on
don't say that, because that's not right. Not when you're supposed to. You graduated when you were supposed to.
Exactly when I was supposed to.
Okay. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. Comparison is a real game. Yes. Especially at A&T. Yes. There's all the career fairs. Everybody. It seems like everybody's doing something like really great. Yes. I remember feeling like I gotta get an internship in the summer. I gotta let people know that I'm like doing something that like means something. And you are not graduating with your friends. Yes. You're dealing with that. How did you, I guess, console yourself as you're thinking through like, these are my friends. I see them taking their pictures.
Yeah.
I see them they're sending out their graduation invitations.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about all that.
It was very interesting because deep down I was a little sad, just a tad bit sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, girl, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing such cool things and I actually enjoyed life.
Yeah.
I enjoyed school. Yeah. I enjoyed what I was doing. So I really just dug into learning what I wanted to learn and continue sewing and learning new sewing techniques and just understanding sewing better. And it was able to take my mind off of being sad that I wasn't graduating or being sad that I see my friends going on without me to being really excited for them and excited for myself.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, to the boys that's going to become men, that one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to have her on was to just talk about this journey and how, like, things don't always go the way you thought they were going to go, and that's okay. Because, like, you think about, like, really, the heart of that is like comparison. Like, we all compare our lives to what everybody else is doing. And in actuality, God has something very specific and unique for you. He has something very specific and unique for me. One of the verses that really bring that to my mind is Ephesians 2:10. I say this all. I think I say it a lot in the podcast, but it's something like, let me see if I can quote it. I think I'm going to go back to verse 8 so I can get to verse 10. Y'all know how that is. For by grace you have been saved through faith. This is not your own doing. It is not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works that God prepared beforehand. So, like, this is we are God's workmanship. We're his masterpiece, and he had good works for us to do.
Absolutely.
Way before we could ever think about these things. And so, like, just as like a bit of encouragement to those who are listening, maybe you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be. God has good works that he's already planned for you. He's just saying, hey, I need you to walk in your calling.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what's happening. Doesn't matter what it feels like everybody else is doing. I need you to walk in your calling.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool. So you graduated in what year?
2023, fall 23.
So you were also in school during the pandemic.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about that. Okay. 2020, were you still doing PR or had you transitioned yet?
I was still in marketing, and that's when I was taking accounting. Oh, that's the class. That is the class. Okay, that's a huge part of the story. Yeah. Accounting, I couldn't get past it.
Okay.
I had taken it, I think, twice. Okay. And this is during COVID. We could do pass, fail. I kept taking it, and I kept failing. Wow. And that was a part of it where it's like, I can't even get past this class. And so that was another thing that really prompted me to change my major because I couldn't get it. Wow. Ended up having to take it. I got an A. Wait. It's crazy. Once I was in fashion, like, that was the last class I took. Got an A+.
That's funny. So it was almost like God was like, hey, I need you to pause because I need you to realize something. You can do this. I'm going to show you can do it later, but I need you to pause right now because I need you to realize.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. Okay, so you graduated in 2022.
Yes.
Wait, you also said you had an internship in New York.
Yes.
How was that? Tell me about that.
That was so cool. So that was my first internship when I was in the fashion program.
Okay.
And I was interning at Tory Burch in handbag design. So it wasn't sewing or fashion related, but I was getting my foot in, which was really important to me. Yeah. And so that was my first one. I lived in Brooklyn. I was commuting to Manhattan. I was on the train. Whoa. Yes, for the whole summer. I lived on the 21st floor. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
It was so exciting. And I was like, okay, like, maybe this is something. Maybe it actually is finally paying off. And this is after everyone graduated. Wow. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I can do it.
Okay. I want to talk about something I remember seeing on Instagram. Okay, you had started doing these series where you were like showing us what you had made, and there was this one thing that you made that like I was like, oh my gosh, who is this girl? Like, I know you from college ministry, but then when you started doing all this sewing and stuff, I was like, who are you? The one that really threw me was when you took a sleeping bag and you turned it into a puffer coat. First of all, where do you get an idea like that?
I don't even know. I was just trying things out because at the time I really enjoyed upcycling and making something from something that pre-existed. So I was like, I wanted to find something to do, and it was for a competition that was based in upcycling. And they had stipulations that we couldn't use clothing to upcycle. We had to use something else. And I was like, well, I wanted a coat. it was cold outside. And so I automatically went for sleeping bags, comforters, things of those materials because they already had the lining inside of it. And it took a very long time to sew because it was so thick. Imagine like this much fabric that you're trying to get under a machine constantly. But I think that's also one of my favorites. It turned out really, really well.
I mean, I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to get the link to that. Put it in the show notes or something so y'all can see it because it was like crazy.
It was very cool.
I might put it like right here. If you're watching on YouTube, it's
photo.
right here. I'm gonna put a picture of it right here. But that's really cool. So when I saw that and I was like, okay, this girl's like crazy. I knew right then and there I was gonna have you do something for me. Yeah. I didn't know what it was gonna be yet, but then in 2020, what year was that? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
In 2022, I graduated college.
Yes.
No, I didn't graduate college. I graduated from seminary school, and I was like, Jewel, I know what I'm gonna get Jewel to do. So I said, Jewel, I saw this that you did this. I'm getting my gown. Will you turn it into a hoodie? This is what I said. I said, can you turn it into a hoodie? And I said, and I gave her the material, and you made a sketch.
Yeah.
You made a sketch of a hoodie, but then you also made a sketch of a Letterman jacket. First of all, went over and above. By the way, it's the jacket I'm wearing right now. Okay, I had to make sure I was wearing it so y'all can see. This used to be my my graduation gown. Like she took the element from it. I was like, this girl is crazy. It's crazy. Like this, you can't see it if you're just listening. This didn't come the letters. It didn't come with the thing. But the other elements, like this right here, this was on there. This is the sleeve, but you turned it upside down. Oh my gosh, this is great. Tell me, first of all, I came to you with the idea of a hoodie, but you came back to me with the idea of a Letterman jacket.
Yes.
Tell me why you felt like, man, this is another option you can go.
The materials.
The materials.
Yes, because when you're thinking about a hoodie, you can think about jogger material, where it's really soft and it has a stretch to it. But with grad gowns, it's made more out of a polyester that's really stiff. And I was like, if you try to put this over your head, it's not gonna stretch. It won't be hoodie material. It might be like a raincoat or like a rain hoodie. And I was like, we could do that. So I gave some options where it included more hoodie materials included with the grad gown, but I was like, I think something that would be cooler is just a new jacket or a Letterman jacket.
And let me tell you, I was just gonna go for the hoodie. I was gonna be basic, but then my wife, she was like, "You got 1,000 hoodies. Go for the Letterman jacket." And I really love how it turned out. Like, it's incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm just every time I put it on, I feel like I'm cooler than I actually am. You know, like 18 style points just immediately given to me. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
So now, tell us what you just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have a line with Belk, which wasn't supposed to happen at all.
The Belk.
Yes.
Like department store Belk.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about how that happened.
So Belk is celebrating their 10-year anniversary of this brand, Crown and Ivy. Okay. And they hosted a student competition that was open to so many schools. So they had HBCUs with fashion programs, but then they also had FIT, Parsons, all of like the creme de la creme fashion schools. Yeah. Anyone who had a fashion program was open to be in this competition, but there was a stipulation that you had to be in your junior year.
Whoa.
I was not.
Whoa.
I was not at all because I was about to graduate.
Wait. You saying to me that you won something that you shouldn't have even qualified for?
Yes.
Ain't that God?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk. Keep going.
I wasn't eligible for it. And I was emailing my teachers. I was like, I really want to do this, but I'm not eligible. Do you think I can? And so they were talking to the people at Belk, and they were like, yeah, she can do it. It'll be fine. I was like, okay. And so we had this call of everyone who was interested in participating or interested for designing. And there were like 100 people on that call. And I was like, I'm not going to get this. All these people on here from all these schools. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to get it. And so they sent out the competition and the applications for it. We had 30 days. And so I started working on it, but then I was kind of discouraged because I was like, all those people, it's people from FIT.
I don't know what FIT is. What is that?
The Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. Like when you think of designers, they probably came from FIT.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I don't even.
Excuse me.
Like, I don't think I'm gonna get it. And so we had 30 days. I was thinking about it the whole time, but I was a bit discouraged. I was like, I've done cool stuff, but I don't know if I'm on this level. We had 2 days remaining, and I was like, I thought back to it, what I said when I was at the other internship, and I was like, I'd rather risk it and at least have something to put on my portfolio.
Right.
If I don't get
Wait a minute.
then not even
you
put it in.
You had 30 days.
I had 30 days.
You took 28 of those days and did nothing.
Absolutely.
And then the last 2 days, you said, what happened now?
I said, I need to just go ahead and do it.
So what did you do?
I worked. I made sketches for so long. We had to originally put in 12 pieces. So I designed 12 different pieces. And
in 2 days?
Yes.
Wait, you just drew them out?
I just drew them out.
Okay.
I didn't tell them. I just drew them all out, and I submitted it, and I was like, there it is. And then I didn't hear back for a really long time. And at the end of the submission, you could apply for an internship. And I was like, I might as well apply for the internship.
Oh,
so I applied, didn't hear back for maybe like 2 months, and I had accepted an internship at Ralph Lauren. So I was supposed to go back to New York this past summer. I had accepted an internship, and then they called me. They were like, hey, we want to see if you Belk. They're like, hey, we want to see if you want to come interview for this internship. And I wasn't really trying to go. I was like, well, I've already accepted. I already got Ralph Lauren.
I got Ralph Lauren. Like this ain't no
not coming. I was like, I've already accepted. I don't know. They were like, no, it'll be really good. Another big thing. They were only doing it for buying. They weren't doing it for fashion design. They didn't have any internships for fashion design. Buying is basically the people who buy stuff that you see in stores.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't even really want to do that. I want to go into design. I don't want to spend my last internship in buying. And so I was really reluctant. And they were like, no, just come. And I was like, okay, whatever. And so they were like, we're going to get you a hotel because it's going to be overnight. And I was like, cool. And so the time comes. I never hear back from the hotel or anything. And I was like, well, maybe it's just not happening anymore. Didn't think to me to actually call them. But it's okay. I'm sitting in class the day of my interview. I'm sitting in class, and people keep calling me from unknown numbers.
Jewel.
And I'm like, who is calling me?
You're in class.
I'm in class.
You're supposed to be in where?
I'm supposed to be in Charlotte.
You're supposed to be in Charlotte.
I'm in class.
They had gotten you a hotel.
Yes.
And you just in class.
I'm just sitting in class.
Okay.
And I'm like, yo, who keeps calling me? And so I finally step out of class. I'm like, hello? And they're like,
not
hey,
with an attitude.
I'm like, who is this? Hello? And they're like, hey, Joel, are you coming? I was like, coming where? And they were like, are you coming to Charlotte? Are you here? And I was like, well, I never heard back on the hotel or anything like that, so I assumed it wasn't coming. Don't assume. And I was like, I assume it wasn't happening. And they were like, no, you need to come for this interview. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm in class right now. I'm in Greensboro. It'll take me like an hour and a half. And she was like, what time can you get here? And I was
Whoa.
like, well, I guess like 12 o'clock, I guess 1 o'clock or something. She was like, okay, just come. I was like, all right, so here I am.
Let's back up.
Yes.
Apply for something you weren't supposed to apply for.
I was supposed to apply for it.
Had another job.
Had another one.
They asked you to apply for this. Mm-hmm. You said, I guess. Didn't go to the interview. Was late.
I was so late.
What time you get there?
I probably got there maybe like closer to 2.
Okay, 2 o'clock happens. You roll up. What happens?
I get there. I get to Charlotte. I drove there. I get to Charlotte. It's 2 o'clock. And I see them. And they're like, oh, I'm like, hi, I'm Jewel. They're like, oh, you're Jewel. And I was like,
oh,
yeah.
So they've been talking about you. Yeah. Oh, you're Jewel. Okay.
And they're like, oh, you're Jewel. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm here for the interview. And they're like, okay, we're going to take you to the intern's lunch, and then we'll send you off to your interview. And I was like, okay. They're walking me over here. I see people interviewing like other interns over there. And I'm like, where am I even going? I walked into the room. There's balloons. It says, congratulations, Jewel. The CEO is there. I'm looking around and I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you were selected. You have the line. My gosh. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, and I didn't even want to come. I was like, oh my gosh, I got it. The CEO of Belk, he's there.
Oh my gosh.
The president, like the VP of design, everyone is there. Like every higher up in the C-suite is there.
Jewel.
At this lunch for me.
And you're not even there on time.
I'm not there on time. I'm not even there on time. I'm not there on time. They have all this stuff set up. I wasn't even trying to go.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was like, I never heard. I assumed they would send an email to the winner or like they would say something about it. And I never heard about it. And it just went off my mind. I got there and they had all this stuff set up. It was all these people.
Oh my god.
And I was like, oh my, I actually won. And that's how I found out.
So basically all of that was just a big ruse. Like,
yes,
the interview was their way of trying to tell you got the line. Mm-hmm. So then you worked with them. You worked with them for how long?
So then after that, I worked with them over the summer, and that's when they made the internship for me, because originally they didn't have design, and then they made a design internship.
They made an internship for you. Yes. Girl, you got the magic.
What? They made the internship.
Somebody say favor ain't fair. Oh my gosh.
It was crazy.
So how long was the internship?
I interned for the summer. I think I went in June. I came out in August, and then I went back to school.
What was the internship like?
It was so cool because you don't think about design for retail really, and it's such a large scale. So I spent time working on my collection. We were doing photo shoots and fittings and all these really cool things, and I had a huge say in the whole process. Whoa. Which was so cool. And the colors and everything, because I had already designed it, but I was just not seeing it, which is really cool. But then I also worked on making sketches and proposing different designs for upcoming collections and working with the designers who are already there. And it was really
favor. That's favor. Okay. Yeah. So can people get your stuff at Belk? They can get your stuff at Belk.
You can see my face at Belk.
What?
Yes. I'm on there. You see the collection. They have like posters of me where it says Jewel Moser and Crown and Ivy, and I have a little picture on there.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. Okay. Tell us about your favorite piece from the collection. How many pieces did you make?
So I originally made 12. We went through with 10. I think my favorite has to be... They're all my favorite. Everyone asks me this question, and I feel like it's very hard.
Okay. Well, tell us one of the most unique ones.
I think one of the most unique ones are the sets with the patterns that I made. So I made all of the prints.
I'm putting them right here.
Yes.
You'll be able to see them. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see them right here, okay?
All of the sets with the prints, I designed each print. So I designed the styles, but I also designed the prints that went into it. Yeah. And I think that was my first print that I really designed. Wow. Because I'm not really a print heavy person. Yeah. Like, I just like solid colors. Yeah. But I knew for Crown, it was going to have a print. It was going to have to be bright because that's the customer. And she's really Southern. And you know Southern women. We like colors and we like prints. And so that was the first print that I made. And now it's in stores. And it's crazy.
How long will they sell that
Some of it is actually already sold out.
What?
I don't know. It's insane. Cause like I'll have people take pictures from Georgia and then I'm there, or like South Carolina and then I'm there with all of my stuff. And so if you go online and you try to buy some of the pieces, especially if you want to pick it up in store, it's sold out.
So will they like replenish or no? Like this is like
I don't know. It was a limited run, so it really just depends.
Okay, let me ask you another question. If this is going too far into your business, then I'll cut it out. Okay. Do you actually get a cut of some of that?
Yeah, I get paid.
Oh my gosh.
I get
paid. Amen.
This is something that I never saw coming.
Jewel. I don't even know who I'm talking to. I don't even know who I'm talking to. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask another question. Now, what are you about to do?
So now I'm moving to Philly, and I'm designing for Anthropologie.
So you're moving to Philly.
Yes.
You're designing for Anthropologie.
Yes.
So before we get to Philly real quick, would you consider maybe even doing anything long term with Belk? Is that option on the table? If it is,
the design team is so small that they didn't really have a lot of other positions available because I would have loved to stay, but the other thing that everybody was like, it's like, you can't stay in North Carolina forever. And I was like, you're right. Because I've been in North Carolina. You know, I didn't go far for college. And I thought it would be unfair to myself to not explore, especially immediately coming out the gate.
Okay, so you're going to Philly.
Yes.
You're going to be working for Anthropologie.
Yes.
How did you get that job?
Favor.
Okay.
Let me tell you. So I had applied for Anthropologie is under the Urban Outfitters brand.
Okay.
Yes. So I had applied to be a part of Urban Outfitters before and I didn't get it.
Wow.
Throughout this whole time, there were different people who would come to our school and I would connect with them, really talk to them. We connected on LinkedIn. I would ask them a lot of questions and we would just go from there. And so I applied for so many different positions and that was the only one that I got.
Wow.
It was exactly the only one. And I remember being so scared because I went to Philly for the interview and I was like, I didn't even get it. I know I didn't get it. And they put me in contact with the design director and she was giving me tips on how to do the interview. And it's like, I really shouldn't have got it. But
Excuse me, y'all. My child. We love having him. No, don't be sorry, Candace. We love having him around. Mm-hmm. That's what you hear. That's what you hear is my son. So, anyway. He feeding. He eating. That's all right. So you're going to move in a couple of weeks?
Yes. I'm moving in like 2 months at this point.
What is the thing that you are most excited about?
I'm excited to be in a new city. I've been in New York, but nothing long term. So I'm excited to be somewhere that's new long term, that's in a larger city at this point.
What is the thing that you feel like will be the greatest challenge to overcome?
Living on my own.
Okay.
I think that'll be new because I want my own place, but also just adjusting to a new city with no one that I know, making new friends. Working for real, like a real job. A real job.
That's crazy.
All of these will be huge adjustments, but I am so excited for it.
That's so exciting. All right, Jewel, this is my last question, and we can wrap it up. Or we can talk about anything else you want to talk about. What would you say to Jewel, who's a freshman?
Oh, my. Jewel, who is a freshman, is to follow your dreams. And really believe in yourself that it'll all work out. It'll all work out. You don't have to be so worried. It'll all work out. And you'll be okay. Because I feel like I was just so worried about everything. Because I felt like I really need to be doing something. But you don't have to worry.
Wow.
It'll be okay. You'll be good, girl. You'll be good.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Jewel, what else? What else would you like to share?
I don't know. I was in New York Fashion Week.
You were in New York Fashion Week.
I was.
Okay, tell us about that.
I got that one. That was in the fall. Yeah, that was this last fall semester. I was chosen by AT&T and Harlem's Fashion Row to represent A&T in New York Fashion Week at the Apollo.
Wow.
Yeah, which was very cool. It was a night for Black fashion. Like Dapper Dan was there.
Okay, don't know who that is, but okay.
Dapper Dan is like huge.
Oh, the guy who was like, stop on the buckle, the what.
No.
He had it was a black dude and a white guy, and they were like.
He's a designer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who am I talking about?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? It was a black dude and this white dude, and they would go around making videos.
In the street?
Yes. And like, he would do his legs like this.
Oh, that's Dan Rue. That's somebody else.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because he'd be like, Peter, Piper.
Yeah. Okay, yes. That's not
somebody
Dapper
else.
Dan.
That's not Dapper Dan.
All right.
Dapper Dan is a different guy.
Okay.
He's the guy. You remember when Coogee was out with like, oh, no. If you remember when like Notorious B.I.G. would wear Gucci, he made those.
Okay.
That's him.
Okay. Dapper Dan was there.
Dan was there. It was a lot of famous people there.
Okay.
Like Kelly Rowland was there. A$AP Rocky was there.
Okay.
I got a picture with them.
Okay.
And I got to show off my dresses and
wow.
stuff. So it was very exciting.
Wow.
And all these people were in the room. And I was like, wow, I'm in the room with all of these people. And I felt like in that moment, everything felt okay. Like I wasn't embarrassed anymore. I didn't feel bad because I was older than everyone else in my classes. It was like, this is just where I'm supposed to be.
That's deep.
Yeah.
You felt like you had gotten to the place that God had for you.
Yeah.
And you weren't embarrassed.
I wasn't. Not anymore.
That's a jewel.
Yeah.
That's a jewel. See what I did there? Jewel, where can people find you?
Instagram.
What's your IG name?
_JUW 6E's L.
6E's
L.
JUW.
Yeah, JUW.
Not JE. Okay, JUW. And then 6E's.
Yeah.
Okay.
L.
Okay. That's where they can find you.
Yeah.
And what about your line?
You can find it at Belk.
Belk.com.
Belk.com, Belk in person.
I'm gonna put the link in the show notes. Mm-hmm. You gotta send it to me.
I'll send it to you.
I'm gonna put the link in the show notes. I know that this is, our podcast is to the man after me, but you got some sisters. You got some mamas, some aunties. So check that out if you get the opportunity. Jewel, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it and getting to hear some updates on your life.
Definitely.
Well, this has been another wonderful episode of To the Men After Me podcast. I'm your host, Nico Williams. This is the letter to the boys that will become men in the generations that follow. Peace.